go down? Yeah. I got a bunch of loose. Oh, shit. That was hard. Look at that boy. Which window she kick out? Where you see a ladder at?
I got a ladder there. The ladder was on the side.
Is anybody else in there?
One for your leg, all free clear. You got something else?
He did what? Is he Hispanic?
Yeah.
Where's the key? Yeah,
I know he's got it on his feet. And he's got it on his feet.
There's no coming up as I-264.
But there's no one else in here, right?
No, you can just...
Hey, President Chief, I'll be on SCT on 537 South 3rd Street.
There we go.
203.
Thank you so much.
What is incredibly heartbreaking is that the woman even apologizes when being rescued. The Louisville Metro Police Department officers responded to the call from the neighbors at around 7 p.m. When they arrived, they immediately saw the woman screaming from the second-story window from a house on Bowling Avenue. The woman is 37-year-old Jonna Wilson. She explained that the man who had done this to her was her ex-partner, a man named Moises May. The two have a daughter together. Jonna later explained that the year before this horrifying kidnapping, she gave birth to their child. However, she didn't actually realize that she was pregnant with May's child, and she unexpectedly gave birth inside the bathroom of their home. Although there were some complications that occurred. She pleaded with Moises to help her, but he refused. She then asked him if she could use his mobile phone to call 911, but he refused to even do this too. From what I can tell, after giving birth, the child was given custody to some of Jonna's family. And then a year later, in August of 2023, the two separated after Moises struck her. She left the house they shared. But later on into the month, Jonna bumped into Moises. The two spoke for some time, and at one point, Moises asked her if she would be willing to come back to the house to clean. Moises offered Jonna some money if she would be freed right away to come back with him to the home. Not realizing the danger she would soon be in, she agreed, and the two headed back to the house where she would soon be shackled. Upon arriving at the home, Moises attacked the mother of his child. He struck Jonna a number of times, forced her to strip naked, and placed a chain around her neck and shackled her inside the room. Moises told her, "Do you want to do this the hard way or the easy way?" Jonna replied and said, "I want to do this the easy way," and she allowed him to put the chain around her neck. But as he did this, he began choking her with the chain. Jonna would later say that after he put the chain around her neck, he had a phone call with one of his friends. He then told her that he had to leave to take some equipment back to a hardware store, but threatened to kill her when he got back. Moises said, "You're gonna get it tonight. I told you the next time you leave and don't come home, I'll kill you." Before he left Jonna alone chained in the room, Moises took a machete and chopped off a large amount of her hair and took her mobile phone away so she would be unable to call anyone for help. Now alone, Jonna realized that she was hours, if not minutes away from a gruesome and terrifying end. When recalling that horrific day, Jonna said, "I thought to myself, this is my only time. If I don't get out now, I'll be dead." Many of the windows and doors to the home were screwed shut, and the only openings that weren't locked, Moises had the keys to. There was almost no way out. Jonna was able to smash a window, but of course, she was still chained and could not get out. So she began to scream for her life, alerting the neighbors that lived nearby. Thankfully, the neighbors did take action, which should not be taken for granted. The bystander effect is very much a real thing, where people hear or even see horrific things and do nothing, assuming that somebody else will sort it out. Upon hearing the screams, the neighbors went to see what was happening, and they gathered in the street. They called the police and explained the situation to them, and officers were quickly dispatched to the location. Jonna is incredibly grateful to the neighbours, as she has said that Moises would have likely murdered her if they had not called 911. When the officers arrived, they used a ladder to climb up to the window and found Jonna inside. The chain was fastened and was secured by a master lock, with a metal dog leash around her neck. The chain was bolted to the floor with a number of screws. When speaking to the media, Jonna said, "Every door was screwed shut. The fire department couldn't even knock down the doors. That's how bad it was screwed. Every window was bolted, every exit. There is no exit in the house." The firefighters who arrived on the scene needed to use bolt cutters to set her free. Jonna has said that Moises had set fire to all of her clothing and that all she had was the clothing on her back. A charity called Free to Hope offered Jonna a shower, clean clothing and hot food, and will be offering further support to her. The police then got to work on finding Moises. Just 2 days later, an arrest was made. The police were able to track down 36-year-old Moises May, and he was apprehended. He has been charged with kidnapping, intimidating a participant in the legal process, assault, terroristic threatening, and harassment. An arrest report reads as follows: "By leaving the victim chained up in the house with no way of calling for help or leaving, the defendant manifested an extreme indifference to the value of human life by engaging in conduct that created a risk of serious physical injury or death to the victim." As of right now, Moises has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. The footage is incredibly haunting to watch, and as horrifying as this case is, Jonna is incredibly lucky that she was able to break free, and is lucky that the neighbours took action. It's horrendous to even imagine how helpless and terrified she must have been. And it also makes you wonder how many people there are in the world who suffered the same fate, but weren't able to break free. There will be thousands of humans around the world chained in someone's home with no chance of escape.